Hello, gorgeous Librans. How are you? How is this Aquarius season treating you? Is it lighting up some sectors for you? Yeah? Aquarius is a very influential, positive sign for Librans out there with its that fifth house energy, right? And in fact, at the middle of the month on February 15th, we're having that Aquarian eclipse. It's partial. And it's in Aquarius, your fifth house. And we're starting off the month, the 31st of January, we have that lunar eclipse in Leo, which is your 11th house of your friendship and your community, right? And then it's like, okay, here's February, let's roll with it. And that moon, the moon on the 31st, I did a video for it, check it out. But it's like this moon that only happens like every 150 years. It's bringing a lot of energy with it, right? So we're starting in February almost renewed as a collective. And it is in your sign of the collective. So, I think you're going to be feeling some of that renewal. I think it'll be really good for you, Librans, because as I know with you all, you're very good at thinking through things. You're very good at using your rational mind. You're very good at, using that ability to whir away to make sense of the world. Great skill set. Love it. But it tends to, I know that some of you get frustrated with that backlog of information that you've collected and analyzed over the years. And I think something about both of these eclipses are going to help kind of cleanse away maybe any of the old experiences you've had. So I really like that for you. Now, I did not do a lot of astrology notes for this month. Some months I'm more into it, and some months I'm just like, let's just get into the intuitive aspect of this. And this month I have one note for you. It does not have to do with astrology necessarily, though, depending on your chart, maybe it does. And here's the note. I'm reading it right off my little paper. Time to expand beyond what is rationally seen and into the vibrational field. Now, I feel like we talk about this a lot. I think this is a human practice that we're all working toward. And so it's something that's going to come up no matter what sign you are. However, Librans, a lot of you have shed, I'm tempted to say over the last couple of years, you've shed handful of different identities, skins, responsibilities, versions of yourself that you hold in your own mind. And what does that leave you with? It leaves you kind of shaky. When that kind of transformational energy comes through and blows through and brings you somewhere new, it's what do you do with it, right? What do you do with it? What do you do with that experience? Because your rational mind isn't going to be able to bring about a clear vision of what's next, right? So there's an intuitive thing going on here, and I think the 5th and 11th houses are great places for this, because the 5th house, there's your true love and romance, right? We're coming into February out of that Leo eclipse, which is your 5th, we're in Aquarius energy, which is your 5th house. So that's going to be really dominant for you all the way up until Pisces season, when we get into your self-care, right? When the sun goes into Pisces and a lot of water energy is going to start building up the second half of the month, you're going to be noticing a lot of things are going into Pisces. We still have Neptune in Pisces. And that's your 6th house of self-care. Then we're going to get grounded. We're going to do some of the work. But before that, we're going to hang out in your 5th house, and we're going to do some work. We're going to do some work on how you're perceiving yourself and other, how you're perceiving your creative pursuits, and how you are releasing yourself to be an authentic version of yourself, and not just keeping the seas calm for others or for old identities or for old ways of doing things. And that's a great place to be. But it is very intuitive, actually. And despite the fact that I think, Aquarian energy, yes, it is intuitive, but it tends to also be rational, right? This is energy that wants to get to the heart of stuff. And like you, there's a desire for there to be a process that you can map out and therefore get your results. But intuition it does work that way, but it kind of, I think you guys already know. I'm going to have a sip of tea here. Just a moment. Okay, let's turn over these cards. Now, once again, I'm doing these cards in sets of 3. So there's 3 sets of 3. And this is working through the month. So I haven't seen these yet. Let's find out what we have going on here. Okay. Wow, you have so much happening. And in fact, it's so perfect. The first card out and the last card out, we have the Star and Strength, which Aquarius and Leo. So that lunar polarity, this is suggesting to me that you guys are going to be feeling that pull. You're going to be feeling, I think you may find this month you are experiencing the effects of the moon very deeply. Even though it's not working in your sign, you may find that the moon and the way it's working and the energy that it's utilizing with this Leo Aquarian energy is really asking you to do some deep searching. Not only that, the shedding skin thing. I know we've talked about this. I know we have. I know we've talked a lot about like dropping old identities, which once again, lifelong lesson we're all working on, right? But there's something about it here. It's almost like a sense of freedom. And I'll show you the first 3 cards that we're starting the month out with here, and it's really beautiful stuff. We have the Star card, the Strength, or the Justice card, and the Knight of Wands. Ooh, fire energy and air energy, right? So first of all, okay, here's some characters you might be seeing. We have a little bit of the Aquarian energy. We have your card here, the Libran energy, and we have somewhat of this Aries, Sagittarian kind of freewheeling fire energy. So these are all heavy hitters. So what I'm kind of thinking here when I see this for the beginning of your month is that you are going to be feeling a lot of power to move on stuff, a lot of power to act on relationships and to act in a reflection of where you've wanted to be for a while. So here's one thing that's been kind of coming up for me in this Aquarian energy, this February specifically. You know, we learn lessons by being there in the midst of the fire. You know, we get forged in fire, kind of. We get thrown into the fire, and we have to learn new skills in order to get through that fire. That's one part of the process. Now there's kind of this shift into these are the first times you're getting to actually utilize the skills you learned, but like utilize them in real time since you've mastered them, right? The next step of mastering is to be able to use them almost seamlessly between when something is calling to you and returning it with the skill that you have learned, right? And that's a whole rush on its own. That's a whole learning curve on its own to just utilize the skill masterfully. It often feels alien. It often feels kind of jarring to suddenly be able to say no when something doesn't feel right, or to put the brakes on when you need to take a rest, or to say yes to something that's risky that connects with you, right? All of those are examples of skill sets that take quite a long time to learn, and then when you utilize them, it can kind of feel alien. And what I'm seeing here, you know, the Star is such good luck to have right out of the gate. No matter what time of year, what reading we're doing, the Star is about your dreams. It's about healing, it's about moving on, and it's about shooting for something so much bigger and broader than just the small day-to-day. This is the least mundane card you can get. This is about the big picture, about your existence in this universe. You know, why are you here? It's kind of like that Gogo Bordello song. Have any of you heard of Gogo Bordello? If I can speak. He says, if we are not here to do what it is that you and I want to do, then what does it matter? I'm paraphrasing. It's a great song. I might put it in the description box. I hope I remember to do that. But the Star card, right? This is you going for what you really want to be doing. So here's a truth card for me. This is truth, but not fact truth. This is truth about who you are and what it means for you to go all the way there with it. This is leap of faith energy. Quite honestly, the Star, yes, it is supportive of your dreams, but the Star always says, if you want to jump from where you are to what you say you want, it requires a sacrifice. It requires you being willing to go beyond the known and to go into alien territory. That is what the star is all about. And it's wrangling here with the Justice card. Now, once again, you may be dealing with some Aquarians and some Sagittarians, some more free-spirited people. For those of you who have lovers or close friends who have some of that energy to them, you are going to be in the midst of that starting with this month. And that may be a good chance for you to test your mettle with these new skills, right? So here you are, shining, center stage. I think you're really going to be owning your power. That's what I'm seeing here, like a very strong statement, Libra. I don't always see you guys show up in your readings with this kind of resolve. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to be watching, I'm going to be stepping back and chilling out when it comes to Librans because I am not going to cross them. This is really good energy though. And you're just coming to center stage. And it may be that you really are able to hold your resolve against somebody like this. So the Knight of Wands, I love the Knight of Wands personally, but I'm a major fire person. I have a lot of fire. So for me, Knight of Wands is like home territory. However, Knight of Wands is kind of like a bonfire or something. It burns up and it burns out, and then it's in, it's out, it's moving around, it has a will of its own. There's a lot of determination in the Knight of Wands, but it tends to be very quick moving and can be even unreliable at times. You know, it's the more volatile side of fire. It's the less consistent side of fire. Which is this really creative spark. So some of you may be finding that this really sparks your creativity, your passion, your romance. This could be very romantic energy. However, what I think you're going to be finding with this specific player is that you've got to hold your own. You have to be like, I'm not going to play this game. And that's actually going to help rein in the Knight of Wands energy and help you utilize it more clearly and efficiently for you. So keep that in mind. Now, that theme only continues as we go through to the next three cards. So now we're into mid-month. Now we're really hitting the eclipse season. We're hitting the Aquarius eclipse. And then moving into this Pisces energy around the 19th when things are going to start to really go into that water energy. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So we have the Queen of Swords, the Hermit, and the Two of Wands. So here's you again. I think the Queen of Swords to me represents Librans in their full glory as queens and kings and rulers and very determined people, right? You have like a very intense determination when you're in your fullest expression of yourselves, which I love. I love when, you know, you really feel that you are who you are, you own yourself. That's Queen of Swords, man. Yes, this can be harsh and biting, but when I see this card, especially in the way it's showing up with this Knight of Wands, and then we'll talk about the Hermit in a second, it's suggesting to me that you are going to have to be the one who lays down the rules. There's somebody who needs you to step in and say, hold up. What was that? Because I'm not accepting anything less than this. And it can also work a different way, which is that maybe you have some relationships with people that you really love and actually they're going well, but you have to lay down some healthy ground rules. And there's where the Brené Brown, I always bring her up, but you know, she's so great with the talk about vulnerability and boundaries and how you need both in order for healthy relationships to exist. Queen of Swords on her high point is the healthy boundaries lady. And I'm seeing you guys get empowerment. So keep that in mind, you know. Maybe at the beginning of the month with the first eclipse before February really starts, get in your head. What are you really after with these relationships? Because I am seeing a lot of relational energy here. I am seeing a lot of energy with the people you love and that you're the closest to. And that's what I'm picking up on here. Now we move into the Hermit energy. And this is getting us into the mid-month. This is where we're starting to head into Pisces, your 6th house of how you take care of your body and your routine and your physical habits. You may also be dealing with a Virgo or somebody who is a little bit determined to set in their ways. And I think you're a little bit determined and set in your ways. For me, I'm seeing a couple personalities. You have some determined people around you and you have some kind of flighty, wild people around you. And you're trying to find the balancing point, what makes you happy. However, what I'm seeing here, there are two big things. Own your power, take care of your body. Because you're setting sights for the longer term here. So you know how I was saying, you've been shedding all these skins for like the last couple of years. These eclipses are working to kind of clarify your romantic relationships and your platonic relationships. Beautiful stuff. And now we're at this point where we've opened some doors. We just had a full moon and eclipse that doesn't happen it only happens every 150 years, so that affected a lot of things. And now we are in this place of setting our sights on the long-term goals. Two of Wands is setting your sights on the long-term goals. You're not going to get all the answers today or tonight. However, there's something about the boundaries and the good communication that you're using this month that is allowing you to bring in the next cooperative components. And I think that's where my note about the vibrational field is really important. Yes, we can analyze things to death, but you can get stuck in analysis. The vibrational reality of this world, right, is that when we feel good at the core and we are following the impulses that come from our inner being, we are better able to reflect what we want in the long term. And I see you guys planting some long-term seeds. Something to keep in mind, the Two of Wands is a seed planting card, but it is not the harvesting card. So that means you have to have a bit of a wide angle lens once we start hitting Pisces season, which makes sense because Pisces is all about the wide angle lens. We're not even using lenses at this point. We are in the deep waters. And I know with air and fire, we always are learning from water. In a very special way. So let's look at the last three cards. They're setting you up for this is where we're getting, once we hit that Pisces, man, okay, the beginning of the month, you guys are on your game. You are powerhouses. I wouldn't get in a Libran's way for anything. Once we hit the last week of this month, though, there's a point at which you are figuring out, you are making some decisions, and you are going deep with something, really deep with something, because we have the Strength card, the Six of Cups, and the Two of Swords. So Strength, here's another strong personality. You've had a lot of strong personalities in this reading. We've had Aquarius, you guys, Libra, Leo, Sagittarius, Virgo. That's a lot of energy to handle. It's a lot of energy to handle, but here's Strength. Yes, this may be having to do with a Leo in your life. You know, Leos and Libras are often hanging out together, doing things where we get along. I see you guys. And so there's that. However, the Strength card too is fitting in with this whole thing of you owning your space, right? Strength card, yes, you are in Justice mode. You are in Queen of Swords mode. You are getting clear, very direct. The Strength card is like, yes, be clear and direct, but hold back a little bit. Don't jump to conclusions. Don't use the force of your intellect and your ability to speak and your ability to cut and your ability to be clear about things to damage or hurt. Slow down. So you might want to slow your roll a little bit, because I see you guys maybe coming to some big headways in your deep personal relationship. Six of Cups is a card of deja vu, deep connection, nostalgia, childhood romance, past lovers. I mean, Six of Cups is a stacked card, and depending on the context it's coming out through, it can bring a lot with it. But what it will guarantee is that you are going down some deep paths about your ingrained habits with relationships and the way that you've experienced them in the past, and how you're experiencing them now, and how that can reverberate if you believe that this is the one formula for happiness. And that's what I'm seeing here. And I think some of you are coming to real conclusions about that. And then that hits you on the Two of Swords, which is feeling that you have to slow down, you have to stop, you have to look internal. And that's what I'm saying. These two are so internal. And in fact, even the Strength card is very internal, because it's not about your outward display of strength. It's about your inward journey. It is about the vibration you are creating on the inside that creates results. And when I see the Two of Swords, what that is telling me, that is a way of universe is taking the ability for you to act and make a whole bunch of noise in the external world and forcing you to slow down and look internal, so that you can look at this reverberating pattern and you can figure out where you're getting stuck. So there's like two sides of your relational beings coming out here. And I mean, this is not just about romance. A lot of you, that may be the case. But this is about your work in the world, your passion projects in the world, and your close relationships in general, with coworkers, with family, with siblings or close friends, people that are around you. You know, people that are in your space. These aren't just casual connections. These are people that matter to you at some level. They are really, those relationships are getting pinged. And like I said, you know, there's a lot of fifth house energy in February for you. And then, you know, and then we're going to your sixth house, which is your self-care, your self-preservation. And the moon is working on your romantic relationships and your platonic relationships. It's been doing that for a while. So we're continuing to refine the system here, you guys. Such powerful stuff. I'm really proud of you. I'm already like preemptively proud of you because I do think you're going to be opening up, being clear and direct, and really owning your space. And I love that, you guys. Now, of course, check out Pink Lune. I'm going to put all her stuff, one of a kind. I mean, she really seriously often only has, sometimes she only has one of some kind of stone or two or three. She makes it all, she's a one-woman show. She makes it all by hand. It's like, this is the kind of stuff you will not see these pieces of jewelry ever again anywhere. They're handmade with all high quality materials. Please check her out. 15% off. She is one of my nearest and dearest. And, you know, keep in touch with me. I have some big things in the works for the channel and for this community. And I'm really excited to open up some new doors with you all. So I'm sending you all the best for an amazing February, Libra. Mwah.